Hello, Cancer. Thank you so much, you guys, as always, for being here. Okay, Cancer, so looking at your third week of November, you pulled Burnt by the Sun, Peace, and Fragmentation. So this one got a little heavy for me. There are a couple of different messages. Now, first of all, Burnt by the Sun, you may be overdoing it and overreaching for something right now, but you may be doing it from a place where you're not whole. Because the advice here is saying that finding inner peace is the most important thing here. And then not only that, but the way that you're thinking about things. So, and I just want to read a part of peace because the first question I asked was, why is this important? Why is this the advice? It says, thoughts have the power to free or enslave the thinker. The quality of your thoughts are mirrored by your reality, and in turn affecting your potential to experience real and lasting peace. I read that and I was like, oh, okay. So you may be trying to overextend yourself to make something happen. And there's this feeling of burnout because you're doing it from a place of, again, feeling broken, right? That's what fragmentation is talking about. The sentence for this says, losing a sense of self is a crescendo of noise, a decrescendo of pain, and a prelude to nothingness. This really talks about being broken. And I have to wonder if, for some of you, there is very much this feeling of you've already been through that situation, but you may not be aware fully of how scattered you may feel when you are trying to achieve something, right? So now for some of you, very simply, it's you don't need to make something happen right now. It's better to cultivate, that better relationship with yourself, especially, self-speech, right? The way that you're talking to yourself and the way that you're thinking about who you are. Especially if you're coming out of a difficult situation that has left you feeling broken, right? It's like, I'm trying to make this happen, but I'm not getting the results that I want. And you may feel like a part of you is just kind of like scattered. But peace, though, peace and looking at fragmentation, I think the big time message here is don't try to make something happen. Don't try to force anything to happen right now, because there's broken parts of you that are reaching for different things, I think, and that may be where, there's confusion coming through too. But just be careful about the things that you're overreaching and extending yourself for. Especially if it's leaving you empty-handed and burnt out. Cure overall judgment. Here we go. Yeah, so this is the review. And this is kind of what I was talking about with fragmentation. I feel like this is a situation that's already happened to you. But there's this need for wholeness before you can see any kind of achievement or success. And with judgment, this is the wake-up call now to look at, your past experience differently. It's resurrection, right? So whatever you have experienced previously, it's like the minute you change your thinking about it is the minute you start seeing a difference in your outer world, where you may not be seeing that right now. But man, huge already. In the past, the Six of Wands. So this is a feeling of victory over this situation, but there's this call to look at it differently. And I think it's this that you're trying to resurrect and bring back, right, with judgment. So feeling like you've had that sense of victory over the situation. This could also be some recognition that's coming through too, because, there's always that part of the Six of Wands. But we'll see. But for you, though, I think that this is what we're resurrecting or bringing back from the past. And you may have forgotten that, you know, especially if this experience felt like life-altering to you, especially with the way that, you know, you see yourself, right? In the present, the Two of Wands, so the decision to act. You know, there are times where the feeling of the crossroads kind of comes in with this, but this is needing to take action now, I think. But you have to decide to do that. And it may be, you know, a change in heart as far as like what you're acting for or what you're choosing to create. But the choice to take action, it makes me wonder what's going on here, right? Because if you are holding your own world in your hands, what does it look like? Right? And in what choices are you going to make to see that manifest? Future conditions, the Eight of Wands. Wow, man, look at all the Wands energy. This is like, yeah, you know, the passion almost gets like kicked back in for you. Like, I can overcome this is what I'm feeling like from these two. And because of that, a choice may come up where it's going to require action on your part. And with the Eight of Wands here in future conditions, things start to change quickly. This is quickly getting things back in order and back on track. And it comes through this huge wake-up call, right? But all of this looks really good. Your best path to follow, the Seven of Swords. Okay. And this may be a call for discernment when it comes to the decisions that you make involving other people. The Seven of Swords, you know, we're talking about somebody being deceitful. I think that this is about being more aware of people who are looking to get something rather than, you know, giving a shit about you, right? But this is also needing to look at these moments differently in a way where it's like this acceptance of, yeah, you know, I was cheated on, I was deceived, whatever it may be. Like I see now how my thoughts are being affected by these experiences. And it may be that, you know, I'm looking at the Six of Wands and this is your advice, and I'm feeling like this is something you've dealt with before. Because there's this sense of victory over it. But it's needing to bring that back now with this, right? But I think it's more about, you know, the actions that you take when certain opportunities are presented to you, because things move quickly in a certain direction. So it may be, you know, that warning of be careful about who you're dealing with. Oh, yeah. Yep. So the devil in your environment. And it's almost like you may be completely detached from it, but it still has very much an effect on you. And that may be like this lingering effect that may be happening. So it's like, yeah, I experienced a really bad, toxic, whatever situation. And I understand how, you know, my behavior has led to, you know, this feeling of the devil in the environment, right? But it's lingering and it's continuing to affect you, I think. And there's this like decision to take action here, to go back to, you know, your sense of victory that you had previously over this. It really feels like whatever this is, it's still affecting you. And it may cause you to make decisions where, you know, discernment isn't being recognized. And you know, there's a part of me that kind of feels like this is a warning, right? Be careful of certain things that cause you to act in certain ways that you know are negative. But I'm looking at this and this, and I'm really feeling like whatever is going on here, you're really trying to do what's necessary to break the pattern, and you want to do it quickly so that things can move in a much better direction. But I don't know, there's this pull of like something still lingering. Your hopes and your fears, the Knight of Swords. You know what I want to say here is, because of Judgment being the overall, it's this feeling of, what do you need to say so that you can clear it out of you? It's like, I need to very quickly say what needs to be said, because I always look at this and think words that cut, and they cut deep, right? This is abrupt and swift, and it's like just boom, done, saying what you have to say and not really caring about how it comes across, because it's almost like communication coming from a place of pain. Like, I need this to be known. Good Lord. But, despite this, I'm looking at a different version of you being born out of this situation. And I think right now, it's just, look, you've been through this before. You've had a sense of victory over it. That needs to come back, because you may ultimately end up making a choice here that is based off of this like lingering addiction to, certain behaviors that are caused by negative things. Here's what I want to say. If you're dealing with a situation with a person who, has made you feel horrible about you, and you feel like you need to say something about it, maybe you don't. Because if you're fearing this is like fearing that it's not going to be heard or it's not going to be accepted. I would say, and this is only going to be for some of you, I would say that if you're thinking, I just need to say this and then I can have my closure, you just need to let it go. I really feel like I need to just let it go. This has the potential to affect you and who you choose to be in the future. So is it really worth doing this? And I say that because of your advice again, and looking at this, you've already overcome this. Why are we taking that kind of a step back? Wow, man. Coming out the Nine of Swords. Well, yeah, so I want to say to you, Cancer, stop thinking about it. Just stop thinking about how it's affected you, because it's going to make you take action that maybe doesn't need to be taken. Right. Like, I feel bad saying this because I get it. It's like, voice what you need to say, right? But this isn't a needing to stand up for yourself situation. The whole purpose of the Knight of Swords is to say shit that hurts, right? But for you, this is, you need to understand how this is hurting me. And Judgment here, you need to take a different look at this and how this has affected you, especially if you're dealing with somebody who's been cheating on you. And, of course, that's only going to be for a few of you. Now, just straight up, with the Eight of Wands, things are going to change very quickly. And it may leave you in a place with the Nine of Swords where you're having some really, difficult thoughts. Not just about yourself, but fear of the future. And that's all because of this nonsense here. But, there's this ability to, have victory over this. It's like you had it once, but it's gotten lost somewhere. And it may be because somebody said something stupid. And the other thing is, too, is if you're getting a huge wake-up call having to do with this situation and you're looking at yourself, be careful about how you're treating yourself, right? Like, don't be beating yourself up for the choices that you've made, because it was influenced by something that, is deceitful. But it's almost like it creates a sense of anger. I want to say, Cancer, if you're really pissed off about the situation, you're tired of the way that it's making you think, right? Like, you're going to have to start looking at it differently. Wow, man. All right. Sorry, Cancer. You've got me super absorbed in this. The Page of Swords. And this is what I'm talking about. You know, the Seven of Coins. The Page of Swords. God damn it, man. And then the Knight of Wands. Okay. Now, if this is something that is continuing to, like, revisit you, and there has been this deception before, that's not going to change. Especially if we're talking about a person, right? So the Page of Swords and looking at the Nine of Swords, again, this is difficult communication. It's the need to find out more information, but it's also only part of the story. It's the things, it's the communication you don't want to get. And obviously with the Nine of Swords here, there's a lot of ruminating about it. And this could be what's being said about the situation. Now, this could be information, though, that somebody recognizes that you may need to hear. And it changes things quickly in the action that you take because it's causing you to reevaluate a situation. But there's a lot of, you know, fear and negative thinking behind it. And then with the Knight of Wands, I think that that's coming from this kind of like in and out feeling. You know, I think that you're going to reevaluate the choice that you make in terms of the action that you decide to take because of how it's making you feel, right? It's like, I'm attracted to this, but I know it's not going anywhere. And it's because of that continuous energy and it being in and out in your life, right? There's this reevaluation going on, and it may be because of some kind of information that you hear. Now, this may change things very quickly for you, but again, I'm looking at your oracle cards, and I'm looking at this and what's going on in your environment, right? You're going to have to rise above this situation. You have to. You have to see it differently with judgment. This is like a negative pattern coming to revisit you and giving you the opportunity to take different action. Wow, man. Root chakra, what's grounding you? Inner voice, and again, right, like your inner speech. What is your inner voice saying to you? And freedom. So, as far as peace goes, in needing to cultivate a better relationship with yourself, it's important that you are grounding yourself in positive energy, right? And changing the inner voice so that there is freedom from this. This is, right? And that's what I feel like looking at that. But your inner voice may be giving you the advice to help you concentrate on being more grounded in what is going to bring freedom for you, right? Man, Cancer, this one, yeah. Work through your fears. And luck is on your side. Perfect. So even if something is continuously like popping up in your environment, I think the awareness of this is it's gonna change the decisions that you make to act, if I could talk right. But whatever is going on, I think things are going to change really quickly based on some information coming through that may cause you to kind of ruminate about it. And you're going to have to work through those kind of fears that are plaguing you. But luck being on your side, I really think has to do with your ability to make different choices to get back to that feeling of victory.